Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel in another book review. Yesterday, I finished Stormfront by Jim Butcher. This was a book I was extremely excited to get into, as recommended by Daniel Green, who really has kind of been the genesis of me reading in general in the first place. So, shout out to Dan the man on that one. And yeah, I love the concept of this book. On the front, it says, magic and wizardry meet hard-boiled detective fiction. And that is exactly what it was. Now, here's the thing. It was kind of boring. Now, wait just a second and hear me out. I love the concept, like I said, and I loved the main character of Harry Dresden. He kind of is a loner, roguish type guy. He just does what he can to get by, and he's really unlike most wizards we've seen before in fiction, or that I've seen before at least. It's set in a somewhat current-day Chicago, and it exists in that kind of same world of Harry Potter, low fantasy, where our real world exists. There just also happens to be wizards, ghosts, goblins, ghouls, vampires, all that sort of thing. And this guy, Harry Dresden, is a detective and wizard who sometimes works for private investigations, or the police will come to him for help on cases, and that is kind of the main plot line of this book. Now, the first issue is that I just didn't find the mystery very engaging or very exciting. We have two mysteries that Harry Dresden is kind of following after, and the thing is, neither of them really gripped me right from the start, and neither of them really had enough weight to keep me page-turning and carrying me through. The only thing that really carried me through was Harry Dresden himself. So I think obviously that says a lot about the character. Just as I was reading, I was like, okay, well, I really don't care about any of this, and it's not really moving at a pace that's exciting, and the new information we're finding out really isn't enough to make me go, oh, what's next in the trail of breadcrumbs to this mystery here? And really, until about 60% of the way through the book is when things actually start picking up. And the thing is, I read the first half of the book over a course of weeks because I just wasn't really interested, and then I finished the second half of the book in one single day because I just wanted to get it done and out of the way. I didn't burn through it because I loved it so much. I just burned through it because I really didn't want to spend any more time with it. So I was like, okay, let's just put on the audiobook and hunker down and tough it out and just go. Now, my next issue comes in with the fact that every female character in the book, which is about 85% of them, with the exception of two, are these weird male gaze written sex deviants who are your classic sultry, oh, detective, you've been looking for me, well, I've been looking for you, kind of vibe, you know? And I get that maybe one or two of those is like a staple in the hard-boiled detective cases, that kind of suave, sexy romance interest, but every single woman that Harry talked to was like that. Like between a vampire seductress or an ex-escort and another girl he had like a date with. There was the cop woman, Murphy, she was good enough, and the woman who hires him on the other private investigation, who's this timid, meek, shy woman. Those two female characters were good because they were actually relevant to the plot, but all the other women in this book, which is the majority of the characters are women, just have this very, like, kind of thing. When I read them, I'm like, all right, are these, like, they didn't quite feel like real characters. And then again, no one really felt like real characters. They're all kind of cliches of the genre, just heightened with that otherworldly aspect of the fantasy elevation to it. But it just felt like weird to me, man. And apparently this is a not constant but a recurring critique of the books, is that it has this male gaze on its female characters, and some have defended that by saying, well, yeah, because it's written from the perspective of this guy Harry Dresden, who's kind of this loner, not womanizer, but actually he's not a womanizer at all, but it might be written from the perspective of a male who's on, the lookout for a potential love interest. That's fine if he views some women in that way, but the fact of the matter is, all the women in his life are literally being like that. That's not him having a male gaze. That is The women characters are just bad. Everyone he comes across. Now we'll get into some stuff I did really like. I thought the world building was cool in the way we learn about potential information. For example, there's this one guy who is also a wizard who is kind of making sure magical rules are being used appropriately. I really love when this guy would show up because him and Harry would kind of butt heads, and it was like, oh boy, what's going to happen next time they meet, because tensions are just heightening. And I really liked that. I liked learning about, well, okay, what magical creatures do exist? Do we have vampires? Do we have goblins, perhaps? Are there any ghosts going on? Are there poltergeists in this world? Are there werewolves? I just was really excited to learn each new magical element that would be dropped into the story. And there are some magical things I didn't really expect to be there, because it has like a very dark kind of like almost Dexter kind of feeling, Dexter season 1 tone to the crimes going on and the kind of world he's involved with. So I just like the world building quite a lot. And the last really good thing I want to touch on is the final 2 hours of the audiobook. I'm not sure what page count that would be. Were really, really great. Once things started connecting and I was like, okay, it all makes sense now. How's Harry going to solve this case, and how's he going to bring it to justice almost? That was really, 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 really good. And I really enjoyed that. And I'm just going to get into spoilers really quickly after this next point. And the point I want to talk about is the audiobook. The audiobook for Stormfront is read by, you know what? Give me 2 seconds to look up his name. Read by James Marsters. This guy, he is Harry Dresden. Usually when I listen to audiobooks, I hear the narrator telling a story a lot of the time. But because the Dresden Files is written from a first-person perspective, this guy just knocked it out of the park. I read the first maybe 50 to 70 pages without listening to the audiobook, and that was exactly how I read him. When I switched over to the audiobook, I was like, this is exactly how I viewed Harry Dresden in my head. So it was really cool, and that guy knocked it out of the park. So I absolutely really commend him on that. But overall, the book just wasn't what I was hoping it would be. I really, really wanted to love it so much. And, I'm reading in between Dark Tower. I wanted something lighter, a little bit more, pizzazz. That was just kind of a quick, fun read to pass the time with. And this was it's like if someone made a really great meal and you got there an hour late and it was cold and, it wasn't fresh anymore. All the elements were there for this to be great, and all of the ingredients were perfect, but it's just not good as it is for me, or for what I was expecting, at least. I was expecting a 5-star meal, and I got the ingredients of a 5-star meal cold. But I do think I'm going to continue on with the series. Not anytime soon, though, but I heard that it gets really great after the second book, book 3, really takes off and takes this series to new heights, apparently, according to Reddit. So I'm going to read some other stuff and maybe come back to it. And I really am looking forward to coming back to it, because I just really want it to be good, because it feels like kind of like my dream story that I want to see lived out. And I want to be able to recommend this to people, because I have a lot of people in my life I think would really enjoy Dresden Files for its concepts. Really quickly, I'm going to get into spoilers. And I mean, if you guys watch these reviews, you've probably have seen the book or read the book and want to know what I think about it. I loved, at the end of this book, in the climactic wizard battle, when they're casting spells back and forth at each other and whatnot, someone pulls out an assault rifle and just starts blasting. And I was like, yes, this is what I wanted to see, because it always pissed me off in Harry Potter. Why didn't Harry just take a goddamn sniper rifle, line up to Voldemort's chrome dome, and just pop off on his freaking head? So in Dresden Files, when these wizards are going at it, and one of the wizard's teammates pulls out a gun, I was like, hallelujah, perfect. And I know some people are going to say, well, in Harry Potter, if you take the magical world and try to take in elements from the tech world, they won't work. But Harry Dresden says in the book, you can't deny physics. Guns are very simple physics, not very high tech. They can work in the magic world a lot of the time. And so when they... Drop my phone. So when they brought out the assault rifle and just started... I was like, hell yes. This is what I want to see. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like the channel, you like what I do here, I really want to break 500 subscribers, so maybe if you could share this video around with your friends, say, look at this guy's funny takes on the Dresden Files, or leave some comments, let me know what you think. I really appreciate it, guys, and have a lovely, lovely day.